Hey guys, it's Jack, and this is the second part of how to use the Jack's PT app. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to navigate your nutritional guidance on the app. So from the home screen, if we click on nutrition plans, then it's going to give you an overview of your calorie and macronutrient intake, which I've assigned to you. So if we click on the blue writing on the top right, this is going to show you your different options for the meal plan. So you can see that we've got some high protein ones and then some medium protein, and there's balanced or low fat and low carb. Now these all total the same calories. It just allows you to pick which option is closest to your current eating habits. Because the more that we disrupt your current eating habits, the harder that it's going to be to follow the nutrition plan. So long as your total calorie intake is where it needs to be. So if you're not sure about this, higher protein is always desirable. And if you struggle to hit that, then you can just drop back to the medium protein. So from here, you're just going to add in each food that you eat throughout the day by clicking on Add Meal. So once you click on Add Meal, then you can click on Add Food, and you've got a few different options here. You can search the existing database. There's a scan barcode on the right, and on the top right in the blue, you can create new food. There's also a recent tab in the middle which will save all of your recent foods and make this a lot more accessible. Now when you search the database, you're just going to type in what you're looking for and it will give you a heap of options. So when you input the food, make sure that you select the right amount, and not everything's going to come out in single quantity amounts, so you might have to measure it in grams. So I really encourage you to weigh your food out with kitchen scales. And once you start to do this a few times, then you're going to get a better feel for what the serving looks like. Now with the database, it's on an American system, which makes it a bit harder to navigate. And outside of that, there's a lot of room for discrepancy with different versions of the same food. So you can see here with the sandwich, if you look at the top one, it has 242 calories. And if you look at the recent one that I just scanned in my kitchen, it's got 143. So for this reason, I would really encourage you to use the barcode scanner on your foods or create new food and input it yourself, which I'll show you how to do. Just so the information that you're working with is as accurate as possible. Because eating 100 extra calories because you got an inaccurate representation of the food that you selected could be the difference between being in a deficit or a surplus. I will say that fruits and vegetables are pretty universal, so I don't see an issue with that. Just make sure that you input the right amount. And meats aren't far off, but there's still a lot of room for difference between them, especially the fattier ones, so I'd encourage you to scan them too. So when you're scanning your foods, just click on the barcode scanner on the top right. You got to get it from a bit of a distance, and then enter in the quantity that you're going to have. So you can see that when we change the quantity, it's also going to change the nutritional values up the top to give you an accurate representation of that. Then we're just going to add it in and it's going to tally it up for you. Now you are going to have to scan in each thing that you eat. So if you have an egg on toast with juice, you're going to have to scan the eggs, the bread and the juice, and you're going to have to put in the correct quantities for each. Now here is a picture of the nutritional information on the bread that I've got in my kitchen. And you can see that at the top it says the serving size is 59 grams, which is 2 slices. So when I scan this, it automatically come up with 59 grams, which is 2 slices. So if we're just going to have 1 slice, then we're going to have to halve that, which I'll round up to 30 grams, to get the appropriate nutritional information. So just make sure that you double check the serving size when you're inputting this information, because the nutritional information will not always be how you would assume it would. Now the other thing that I recommend that you take advantage of is the create new food feature. So for meals that you eat regularly, you can create that meal and then it will save for easy access. So here's our meal that we just put in, and say that that's something that I eat regularly, that I have for breakfast most mornings. Then what we're going to do is take the values of the calories, proteins, carbs and fats for the entire meal, which is in the middle of the screen, it's underlined. And we're going to input that into the create new food. So you can give it a name and then you input your macronutrients and it will total the calories for you. Now with your serving size, you can put this in grams, but since this comes out to a tidy amount, we're going to change it to quantity and just put in 1 quantity, which is 1 serving. And then you're going to add that food and it will save to your library for easy access. So there it is down the bottom, and it's going to have exactly the same value as all the food that it consists of, which is all the ones above it. So it's going to save over here in My Foods and you can access it anytime. Now I understand this is going to be a little inconvenient, but once it's done and it's going to stay there forever for you to be able to access anytime. And it's going to be extremely accurate. So for meals that aren't so simple to measure out, say if you want to do a pasta or a bolognese, you're going to do the exact same thing and enter in every single ingredient and the correct quantity. And again, we're going to take those totals, which are underlined for calories, proteins, carbs, and fats, and we're going to input them into the add foods. And with your serving size, the more accurate way to do it would be to measure the lot of it, and then you can do your servings in grams, or you can select quantity and then put how many servings that are in there, and then you're going to select how many servings that you're going to have. So we can see, because we made that a 4 serving meal and that we input 1 serving, that has divided your values by 4, and you're going to get the appropriate nutritional information for your serving. And again, that meal's going to save in My Foods for easy access. Now, if you get a food that the scanner doesn't recognize, then you can also use Create Food to input that into your library. So you're just going to use the nutritional information on the packaging, which will look like this. And you're going to take this information and input it into Add New Food as you did with your meals. Now you can see that with your quantity, you can either go per serving or per 100 grams in the 2 columns. And we're just going to go with per serving because it's going to calculate it for you anyway when you input it. Now you can see up the top that your serving size is 35 grams. And all we're going to need is your energy, your protein, your carbs, and your fats. So you can see that the energy is measured in kilojoules, which is no good for us. So to change that to calories, we're going to divide kilojoules by 4.2. That will convert it to calories. So that's going to be 136 calories per 35 gram serving. So again, we're going to input this information into the Add Food. And at the very bottom, you're going to put in your amount. And you can see that it's added in a 200 gram serving of cornflakes and it's done the math for us. And I've exceeded my carbs big time. Alright, so that wraps that up. Now I just want to finish off by saying again that I highly recommend that you use the barcode scanner or the Create New Food instead of using the database, just because it will give you a far more accurate representation of the foods that you're eating and how you're tracking them. And don't forget to input your sauces and your drinks, as I nearly did on the first meal that we did, because they're fairly calorie dense and they can easily add up and take you over your calorie intake. So real quick, while we're talking about nutrition, if you go into the vault, I've put a heap of material in there for you guys. There's a heap of recipes and I've categorized them into snack, smoothie, dinner, lunch and breakfast. So they've got all the ingredients and the directions, and then up the top, the nutritional information is included as well. There's also a folder called Food Prep, which has YouTube links to a heap of videos on food prep. I encourage you to go and check them out because you'll find something that you like, and the more resources that you have available, the easier that it's going to be to hit your nutritional targets. I'm also going to continue to add to them in future, so make sure that you keep an eye on it. Anyway, that just about wraps up the nutritional side of the Jax PT app. Don't hesitate to send me a message or an email if you have any questions or issues with the app. Try and be as consistent as possible with your training and your nutrition to get the most from your coaching, and try and have a bit of fun with it along the way. Anyway, I'll catch you later.